We are continuing with my reading. This will be Genesis chapter 23. It's a fairly simple chapter with not much in it, so it shouldn't take too long. But once again, let me reiterate that what I am doing here is reading the standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in chronological order according to events, not according to publication. And so that will consist of the Bible, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and Pearl of Great Price. I am currently in Genesis, and part of reading the Bible will be the Joseph Smith translation, which is an inspired correction or translation of the Bible, restoring those portions that were lost over time. So, again, this is Genesis chapter 23. Let us begin with the chapter heading. Sarah dies and is buried in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham buys from Ephron the Hittite. Okay, here we go. Verse 1. And Sarah was 127 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arba, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Okay, I do want to mention a few things here. She's 127 years old, which means that Isaac is 37 years old. If you'll recall my previous video about the sacrifice of Isaac, I mentioned that he was in his 30s. And going back again to the book of Jasher, according to the book of Jasher, the reason that Sarah died is because she thought Isaac had been sacrificed and she died of sorrow. So Isaac would have been 37, therefore he would have been 37 when Abraham offered him as a sacrifice. Now that is an apocryphal account. That is not from the scriptures. I do not have an official church source to confirm that. It's just a interesting side note there. I also liked in the book of Jasher how Noah and Shem came to visit Abraham and mourn with him when he went to bury Sarah. They came to the funeral. It's a very touching scene in the book of Jasher. But let us continue in Genesis. Here we go, verse 3. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres, bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. Now, quick note in verse 6 here, where it says, Thou art a mighty prince. Alternate Hebrew translation is, Thou art a prince of God. So they recognized him as a prophet of God. Even though these were Canaanites, the Heth, I believe, was a son or grandson of Ham. So these are Canaanites, but they recognized Abraham's authority and his faith and power. So back to verse 7. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession, for a burying place among you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field I give thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. I like this. He goes to the children of Heth, and he asks them for a place to bury Sarah. And they say, hey, pick out a sepulcher. Doesn't matter where, it's yours. And he says, well, let me buy this cave in the field of Machpelah. Let me buy that. And the guy that owns it, Ephron, he comes and he says, oh, you don't need to buy it. I'll give it to you. these guys really liked Abraham. They were good friends. And I just like this I just like their relationship here. Now, I will say Heth was a son of Canaan, as I thought. So Ham, his firstborn was Canaan. Canaan's firstborn, I think Heth was his second son. I'm just flipping back here to chapter 10 to refresh my memory. Yeah. Sidon was Canaan's first son, and Heth was his second son. Now, I don't know. It seems to me that Ephron was not of the children of Heth, but lived among them, because he's Ephron the Hittite, while they're referred to as the children of Heth. But I don't know. So anyways. Verse 12, and Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land, and he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, but if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, my lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury thyself thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron. And Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah. Wait 1 second. Let me just put here. He says, hey, you take it. You bury your dead. Abraham says, no. What's the fair market value? Let me buy it. And Ephron says, well, it's worth 400. Let's just call it even. It's worth 400. And Abraham said, okay. And he gives him 400. Now, I like that. Current money with the merchant. In other words, they had somebody there with scales to weigh it out, because back in these days, you didn't have, all money was based in weight. And so if it's worth 400 shekels, a shekel is an amount, as a weight. It's a measurement of weight. It's not coins. And so you had to have scales to measure it out. And they got a merchant who had the appropriate scales, and they measured it out. So, but I like that they were willing to give it to him, but he said, no, I need to buy it. Because Abraham, he didn't want to have anybody claiming anything on him. He wanted to only answer to the Lord for what he had been given. So, anyways, let's finish this out. Verse 17. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of the burying place of the sons of Heth. Now this is, again, before Mamre. Remember, that's where Abraham entertained the three holy men. So it's in the same general area. One other thing I wanted to talk about, mentioning the current money with the merchant. This is also talking about, this is the first kind of record of property ownership in the Bible. They're measuring out the money, and the merchant is kind of notarizing the deed to the land. And this is going through the proper channels so that it is all formal and legal. And I think that's also very important, that Abraham was respecting the laws regarding personal property in his day. But we will leave that here, and we will see you in the next one.